Hey YouTube, it's EchoBear, and today I want to review an app for you guys. It's called Trickshot. Now before I get into talking about this app and why it's one of the most satisfying apps out there, let's get through some of the serious stuff. So Trickshot is made by Jonathan Topf, and the first version that I can find of it being released was on September 2nd, 2015. And this is essentially a momentum-driven puzzle game. So yeah, let's get to it. So pretty much the entire goal of this game is to land trick shots, which is essentially getting your ball through a bunch of different obstacles and being able to get the ball into the box in a swoosh without touching the sides or anything. So pretty much ball goes point A, point B is the bottom of the box without touching anything else. And although that sounds simple as a premise, it gets really hard. Not in a bad way, in any means, but it definitely does get hard as you progress. The basic mechanics of this game are you have your little play area square, which is shown to you through like a little box of varying shapes and sizes that has red dashed lines around it. So that's pretty much where you can throw the ball from. It's not like actual throwing like swipe commands, but it's kind of like a slingshot mechanic where you tap where you want it, pull back in any kind of direction, and that determines the momentum, the angle, and it also gives you kind of a basis for the trajectory of this thing once it does go pew off into the distance. So that part of it is really easy to understand and is really easy to pick it up super duper quickly. So that part, awesome. And pretty much the first bits of the game are really easy, just get ball from point A to point B like I said. But as you continue through this game, it starts adding in a ton of different stuff. It starts adding in pits so you can't bounce the ball off of the ground. It starts adding a bunch of wood planks everywhere so that it makes it harder to navigate and you have to be more specific with how you're throwing the ball. It also adds in buttons that you have to press, some in a specific order to be able to get the ball into the thing, like in a certain amount of time. Like some of these are heavily timing based, but still ridiculously fun at the same time. Now, from that, it sounds kind of tedious, and I get that. If things have to be just like a hair's, like sometimes in these levels things have to just be like a hair different, and that's the difference between success and failure, which sucks, yeah, but it's satisfying. It's just ridiculously satisfying in every way, shape, and form that's out there. Pretty much like it's when you're like a little kid and a bunch of people are watching and you're bragging about how you can like being like, hey, watch me throw this water ball, I bet I can get it into the trash can in one throw. And it's that feeling of when you actually do get that on the first throw. It's like that overwhelming, like, I am so cool, this is awesome kind of feeling to it. It also is just ridiculously satisfying just as a general statement. It's like when it is super specific, it doesn't feel like, oh great, fun, finally. It feels like, yes, I figured it out, I did it, because yeah, it's trial and error, but it's in a way that's really fast-paced. It doesn't like count against you if you have to take a million tries or if you get it on your first try. It's just if you can get it in perfectly. And even if you do touch the sides of the boxes, yeah, it's not a perfect score, but you still get to continue on, and only if you want to be a perfectionist or a completionist that getting perfect on every single one even really matters. So honestly, it's a super fast-paced game. I think I've had it for maybe 3 or 4 months now, so has really good longevity as far as an app goes. Like most apps, I kind of tire out and decide to review maybe within 2 or 3 weeks. I should talk about that sometime, but that's for a different day. But this app has ridiculously long longevity, if that's even a phrase people say. It's just fun to play for a really long time. The levels do get kind of slow the more complicated they get, but sometimes you get lucky and get them on the first try and just whip through a bunch. So I haven't completed the game all the way yet. I'm pretty close, but we're still not there yet. But honestly, I am gonna keep playing this after I'm done reviewing it. A lot of times with apps, once I'm done reviewing it, it gets deleted off my phone. Like, okay, bye, good riddance. Like, I need space on my phone now. I have over 200 apps on my phone, guys. Like, that isn't even a joke. That's like a legitimate thing. I'm running through so many apps on a constant basis that are so big that, like, I need the space. But back to the app, it's just good. It's just really good. The controls are snappy and just very fluid and fun to play around with. Like, even if you just want to like throw the ball into the air as high as you possibly can. Like, the game doesn't get mad at you. There's no ceiling for it to hit. It can just go up forever or down forever, like depending what you want to do. It's really fun to just kind of play around and even just kind of ignore what the game wants you to do for just kind of dinking around and having fun in your own way. Another thing about this game that is ridiculously satisfying is the sound design, believe it or not. Most of the time when games don't have like a backing track, I'm usually pretty bummed out about it because I love music just in general. Like, as a general statement, I really love music. So when it doesn't have it, I usually get kind of bummed out. But this game, it feels better that it doesn't have a backing track. I feel like it would get a little too messy with all of the sound effects that it does have, but the sound effects that it does have, I need to talk about that a little bit. There's sound effects for when you throw a ball, for whenever the ball contacts something. There's different sound effects depending on what the ball is coming to contact with. Floor has a different sound, wood has a different sound, buttons have a different sound, fans have sound, touching the box creates a descending scale of noises as it continuously hits it. Like, some games you can get it like all the way to the lowest point because it's like bouncing around so much in there. So it's just this array of just really somehow lifelike yet whimsical, fun sound effects going on all at the same time. Visually, it's adorable, and I'm not sure how that works when it comes to a ball. Pretty much the balls just kind of go on a rotating scheme where it's either a solid color, has stripes, is a rainbow, has googly eyes, has like just a bunch of different stuff going on with it. And somehow that's adorable. Like, the game reminds me a lot of old I Spy games that are like interactable. I would love an interactable I Spy app. Oh my god, if that's a thing, let me know. I will play that. But it kind of captures that same feeling of comfortable loneliness, if that makes sense. Like, if you look at screenshots from the I Spy books, and if you are too young for that, I don't know what to say. It's a weird concept. But if you've looked at, or just Google, or I'll put something over here, of the I Spy books, it has this like overwhelming feeling of loneliness and emptiness despite being very crowded and filled with things, and you interacting with those things just through the book. This has the same kind of premise to it, interestingly enough. Although it's not as cluttered and wild as I Spy books, it still has that weird feeling of just, I'm comfortable here, but it's very obvious that you're alone. There's no multiplayer, there's no ads coming in and barging and knocking on your door showing like, hey, outside world is here. It's just very quiet and very lonely, but you're still there having a good time. It's a weird aspect that I would love to look more into in the future, but it definitely has that feeling. But it's like, Lee said this about something else that's kind of similar to this, and that like you're morbidly validated or something along those lines, but it's just, you feel uncomfortable but you're okay with it kind of feeling to it. It's very weird. But anyway, I'm on a tangent. This game is so much fun. There are literally no drawbacks that I can find to it. It's super fun, and for what it is, I have to give it a 10 out of 10. I think I'm giving out a lot of those lately, but I've just been playing a lot of really good games. This game is absolutely fantastic. It's super fun. I'm gonna play it until I 100% it, and I'm probably gonna post it on Twitter the day that I do manage to do that, if I remember to. But honestly, it's so worth it and just so ridiculously fun while you're playing it. So me, 100%, I recommend it. Totally check this one out if you like puzzle games, momentum-based games, games where you can just throw stuff around without any consequences. I definitely recommend it for like that kind of thing if that's what you're into. Anyways, as always, thank you guys so much for watching this video. It means the world to me that you hang out and watch my videos. Make sure to stick to the very end of this video to see more stuff that I've done. Make sure to leave a like and comment down below. Let's start a conversation. What did you guys think about the I Spy games when you were little, if you did play that? Like, did you get the same feeling of oddly comforting loneliness from it, or is that something I read into it as a little kid? But anyway, I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!